You know how he used to say that you should be lucky to have him, that you wouldn't make it on your own. You know how he claimed to be such a big part of keeping it together, and how you had to refer to him and ask him because otherwise you'd make a mistake. While you were busy questioning yourself, you were also holding everything together. You were his emotional regulator, his manager, his housekeeper, the person who took care of the kids. You did all of that while suffering his emotional abuse. You're so strong, and without you, he is scrambling. Bleached teeth, new haircut, new clothes, a gym membership. He's trying to keep up the appearance, but the cracks are beginning to show. It's just that you don't get to see them because, especially towards you, he's putting on a front. Everything is just fine. And perhaps he will even post some pictures of himself with a good-looking woman by his side. All of this to show that he is still valuable. But after years of leaning on your steadiness, he is on his own. And when life hits him with another bump in the road, that happens to all of us, but especially if we haven't worked on building a real core, real abilities, a real ability to handle things and to take care of our own emotions and not only be sufficient for ourselves, but as an adult, the aim is actually to be able to be there and strengthen other people so that when we stand together, several healthy adults, we will strengthen each other. Just like trees grow. You know, it looks like they're standing on their own, but if you go underground, there is an intertwining of the roots, all under the ground, under the soil. Just like the crowns are going up into the air, the roots are intertwining, making very strong connections in the earth so that the trees are holding each other up. And when they are cutting down a lot of the trees and the roots are dying, the soil gets shaky. And often it's in one of these areas that you see the highways collapsing. So even though you don't see the cracks, they are there, underneath the soil. I'm Emma, a medical doctor and abuse survivor. In this video, we will talk about why the lives of the narcissist start to crumble the minute you walk away. When you were with him, you weren't just a partner, you were part of his mask. You were the kind-hearted woman, the woman who had a career on her own, who kept everything together. You were the place that he could come home to and rest his head on your lap if he had a tough day. You would soothe his emotions, his irritation. You would tell him that everything would be fine, and you would make sure that it was fine. And people looked at you and thought, well, how bad can he be? He's with this kind person who is generous and very capable. You were his credibility. You were the softness. You were the human proof that he was doing just fine. When you walked beside him, your light made his shadow look smaller. And if he was really dysregulated, he knew you and he knew your triggers and he knew exactly where he would punch you so that you would react and he would feel taller. Now you're not there. You're no longer taking care of all the small things and putting up with his BS, and life will not handle him kindly. He will still get all the normal stuff that you saw him deal with when he was with you. But on top of this, he will have to deal with being a mental child in a grown man's body, trying to deal with his own finances, trying to keep the peace at work. And there is no one there. There's no soft landing. There's no one to cushion him and to hug him, even though he's mean, and to kiss him, even though he doesn't deserve it. There is no one there. Only his two bright smiles staring back from the mirror. And the silence that follows when there is no one left to applaud him. At first, it may look like he is doing fine. He might get a new haircut, a new partner, and he might even look like he's doing better than he was with you. But often, this is actually the beginning of his collapse. Even if he has managed to acquire a new partner, she is not you. She is not broken in yet. She doesn't know his triggers. She can't see the storms that are bubbling under the surface and smooth them over before they burst. And to keep her interested, he has to perform. That's the real bugger. He has to love bomb her and to pretend to be interested and to give her the gifts, the grand gestures, and try to make her invest in him and in the relationship. He has to make an effort for her. But he no longer has you as his emotional fuel station. You're not there to take care of him when he needs someone to fill him up after having given that. Even though you may not like the idea, he probably were using his charm on other people even when you were in the relationship. That's the typical pattern. He may not have been cheating, but in order to get friends or in order to get persons who will stay with them for a while, even if not romantically, they still have to make this investment, the love bomb, the effort. So when you leave, he's really in a bad place, and that it doesn't matter if he left you. From the delusional idea that the grass will be greener on the other side. Because not many partners will stay long-term, especially in this day and age. Narcissists and selfish people and abusers are getting exposed. If you met him a while ago, a few years ago, 10 years ago, you met him before the narcissism hype. You didn't know what he was, you didn't know this behavior, but people are becoming more and more aware. And his chances and options have gotten less over the years. When he was young, when he was 20, 30 even, perhaps he could use his looks and his charm and his bad boy mannerisms and get someone to like him. But that trick is getting old, and he can no longer find the young women, the ones who have no experience from a lot of relationships and who will be easily tricked. He has to look at someone from his own age group or perhaps a little lower. And the higher he comes in his own age, the more experienced and insightful and wise the women he has to choose from will become. So if you have heard the term slim picking, this is now his daily life. You might see them start to gamble, start to buy lottery tickets. They might do this and hide it from you. My ex-husband did. I had no idea that he was gambling. They might create the dating apps accounts. What they're trying to do is to get a win, $1 million win or $1 million date, something that will increase their value in other people's eyes and who will transport them back in a time machine to the time where they were young and when they have the assets, when they had the people cutting them slacks, overlooking their bad behavior and just seeing the charm. But in order for them to do that, they need a buffer. They need the money. They need things to give out to people. No one likes the real them. That's why they're putting on the mask. You put up with the real them. That's what makes you invaluable. He will never find anyone who will put up with the real him ever again. Because highly empathic people, highly empathic women, and especially if you're also a high achiever. That does not have to mean that you achieve highly at work. You might be taking care of the basic stuff that needs doing in life. And you're willing to take over part of responsibility that should really be his, and you take that for him, and you smooth the road, and you curl him. You only get that lucky once. You only get that lucky once. You were the structure behind his performance. He didn't realize that because he is narcissistic. His mind and his psychology is limited by his own entitlement and his own blown up ego, thinking that he's all that, when in fact you were the person quietly holding that big ego and comforting it when it got bruised. Poor little baby, now he's out in the world getting all bruised and bumped, and you're not there to soothe him. You know what happens then to him? He will get desperate. He will start to spiral. Cracks will begin to show. Those anger outbursts that you had to deal with, now he's letting them show to other people. Now is when he starts to rage at people at work or at his new partner too soon, pushing her away. Now is when he's making dumb decisions, investing in a trip or like a very expensive Tiffany lamp when he doesn't even have money for the basic stuff. He is a con man, and you just rip the mat from under his feet. Even though he might look fine, he's not. All narcissists crumble with time, but the minute you step away, that slow demise happens quicker. But the thing about them is that they try their best not to show you. So when you're seeing cracks, when people are starting to see cracks, then things are 100 times worse than what the public knows about, especially in here. For some narcissists, this is when they really double down. They become more arrogant, they lie bigger, they try more, they pull more tricks up their sleeve, all of them trying to manipulate, lie, and pretend. And some of them realizes that the game is up and they turn inward more and more, cutting off family members or friends, changing workplaces, drifting between relationships or towns. Their social circle shrinks and their energy is running low because it takes energy to manipulate. It takes energy to pretend and to try to charm people. As I said, they may still put on a big show if really needed for the outside. They may still post smiling selfies, not selfish, smiling selfish, smiling selfies. But if you pull the curtain, there is no one there. No peace, no growth, nothing. And this is their own fault. They could have chosen to learn love and to soften. Didn't you give them that chance? For years? Didn't you tell them? Didn't you show them? Now they have to live with that fate. The emptiness that they tried to project into you and that you carried for them, giving them love and compassion and faithfulness in return. That emptiness, there is no one there to carry it for them. They have to carry that themselves. And that's unbearable. That's their punishment. But not every narcissist simply lets you go and quietly collapses. Some of them know that they are dependent on you. And if they sense you pulling away, or if you discuss divorce or separation, They panic, they get angry, they may try to scare you, or they may increase their abuse, trying to control you. Some of them becomes dangerous. They may threaten you. They may try to hurt you. And if you manage to get away, what you think may be a Hoover, when they start to contact you, be aware, because it may turn into stalking. Both stalking and high control relationships, it's the same mechanism and psychology underneath it. They won't let you go. They're trying to control you. They want to own you. You don't get to decide when the relationship is over. Take a look at my videos about stalking and hoovering. I will link them below, and I will link one of them in the end of this video so that you can watch that one to take care of yourself. Because you are very valuable. We need you here. We need you in the community, and the world needs you and your love and your compassion and curiosity and creativity and positivity. Don't let a toxic abuser monopolize that. My channel is all about how to heal and break free from that dynamic and become what you couldn't become when they were holding you down, what they were afraid of you becoming. You will become that. And unfortunately, well, their life is going down the drain, and that's their doing. Enough of us trying to rescue them already. When you've rescued someone out of a burning building once, twice, 10 times, 100 times, and they still try to hurt you, and when you need something from them, instead of helping you with that small thing, they blame you for getting yourselves into that situation. Are they even worth your compassion? Thank you. Thank you for joining me for this video. I'm Emma, holding up a light over the bridge. See you in the next one.